Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. My name is Niels Tudor Winter and I am the creator, editor and host of The Grant. This summer I released an episode focusing on the hardships of writing proposals over the summer and on the deadline structure in Horizon Europe. It is one of the most popular episodes that I have released, and many people got back to me afterwards thanking me for picking up the subject. Briefly after, I picked up a LinkedIn post by a Cypriotic grants consultancy company, GrantXperts, that flagged that they were running a 4-day working week over the summer. In other words, they seemed to scale down and giving their employees a break in what is one of the most difficult periods as a grants writer. I was intrigued to find out more, and I therefore reached out to the company. I ended up with a podcast recording schedule with head of Erasmus unit Christina Achilleos to have a talk about how they actually made that work in all practicality. It is a wonderful talk about the conditions as a grants consultant and how on earth they pulled through with such a great initiative during a rough period. Please enjoy. Welcome to the Grant podcast, the EU funding podcast, one and only still. And I keep saying this in each introduction to each program because I don't have any competition yet. I am continuing my efforts to fill in the timeline series. It's a long effort actually that I've put myself out on. So that's rolling, and that's I keep filling onto that. But as you all know, who have been listening to this from the beginning, or started listening, I also have guests episode. And a particular episode that was very likened by a lot of people was the one I did this summer on the efforts and strains and hardships it is to develop proposals over the summer. So the proposals with the deadline in August and September, and how difficult that is as a proposal developer. Now, in the wake of that, or in the aftermath of that, I noticed on LinkedIn a post from one of my contacts mentioning that in their grants consultancy company, they had run a test of a 4-day working week. Now, obviously, that is a beautiful bridge and beautiful add-on to that discussion I had this summer with George and Ivana. And obviously, naturally, I reached out. And now I keep talking about a company, I keep talking about a post. And so it's not nice to talk about people in third person when they're in the same room. So, Christina, welcome.
Hello, Niels. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's really great to be invited by you at the Grant series. So I am really looking forward to the discussion today. I'm sure we're going to cover a lot of interesting things.
This is nice. What we're going to do here is something that, but this is something that actually people, they care about out there, because I can see from my timeline series that's a guidance, tips and tricks series that has some traction, and then I have my interviews with different layers of different areas of the grants and project business, but the episode this summer, that's an opinion, yeah? Like the opinion side pages in the newspaper, right? So it was it was us having a colored, so to say, an opinion about things, and this is in the same category. So this is something that people actually like, because it's not that often in this business that people, they come out with frustrations or with their opinions about what the commission is doing, or with conditions in the sector and so on and so forth. So this is something I predict that there will be many people listening to this episode.
Great. We're very happy about that.
So let's not keep people in oblivion. You are a consultant from the Cypriotic grants consultancy company GrantXperts, and I'm not going to say any more. I'm just going to let you present yourself.
Great, thank you. So yes, indeed, I am representing Cyprus in today's episode. I am Christina Achilleos. I am an EU funding consultant and head of Erasmus Plus unit at GrantXpert Consulting. We are a boutique consultancy specialized in all things about national and EU funding programs. We are active since 2009, and we are really, proud because our founder, Dr. Sile Hadjichristodoulou, she started this company from a national grant in 2009, which was back then funding innovative and forward-looking business ideas especially for female entrepreneurship. So we have, started ourselves from such a grant, and we are really, really happy because we are a very passionate team. We love to help the organizations and the clients that we represent realize their dreams, make their dreams come true through EU funding and national funds. So yes, I have started as a full-time proposal writer since 2016. I have experience in a lot of European programs, majorly in Horizon Europe and Erasmus Plus. So briefly about me, these are the information, and we can even discuss more details in the continuation of this podcast.
Well, we'll see. It's so you have been working with this for 8 years, 7, 8 years.
Yes, yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
And were you a junior when you sort of?
Yes, actually.
When you came up.
Yeah. I actually started from zero, I would say. I found out about this very, very interesting field, and myself, being. I really like being challenged, and I really like to grow in an environment. And I found that this job is really for me because it helps you combine a number of skills, research skills, analytical skills, presentation skills. Then you get the chance to meet a whole new network of people on a local and EU level. So it's really has been an interesting ride, and for me it's definitely rewarding that I have managed to grow from zero to where I am today, being ahead of my unit. So yes, it's a really great it's a great journey, and it doesn't end here. I'm sure there will be a lot more in the future.
I can promise you can do this for the rest of your life. And still only scratch corner, promise.
Niels, what's interesting about our job, we get to, work with so many people and so many diverse projects within 1 year that, you really grow as a person. This is what I mostly keep. And at the same time, you develop your career in such a, rewarding manner. So definitely I see this as a full-time career,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. So, what do you like to do the most? Do you like to write the proposals, or do you like to facilitate partnerships? So, what's your sort of core? Where you think?
Well, to be very honest with you, I am the professional that likes a little bit of everything in what we do. But I think that what differentiates me is how I can manage to view things differently and write up proposals in a very unique manner. I always like to, develop proposals with a very unique, let's say, eyes. And I really like to be involved in creating new networks. I really like to network with people a lot, discuss about new ideas, new projects. What can we, how can we help our country and Europe move forward, become more digital, more inclusive? Yes, these are the things that really excite me.
Good. Now, this is shamelessly self-promotion. I always tell people that I invite on board that they have a carte blanche to shamelessly self-promote, because I'm asking people I know people have an interest because they get visibility through the podcast, but basically I'm asking them to do it out of like the rest of the things that they're supposed to do. So it's I always say just go. You're like promote, for Christ's sake.
Well, it's a nice opportunity. We don't get asked often on what we do, what we like, what is our passion in our profession, and
that's correct.
Yes, and at the same time, Niels, there are so many professionals in our field. We are doing so many nice things at the same time, and I think it's time that people have the chance and the opportunity to come up front and speak about their work, about who they are, what they do, what they like, what they don't like. So
yeah. And it's part of, so I have in the podcast universe, I have a segment or a corner there called, I have labeled Consultants Corner, with exactly this purpose that as I move on, I will on a regular basis zoom in on the consultancy sector, how things work there, and the ways that people are attacking these things and so on, exactly for this reason. Because we never talk about it. We don't talk about ourselves. We help clients with all their things, and we let them talk, and then we meddle with things, and then we go back to our shadow world of writing their stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
True. A little bit of digging in your own stuff here. So let's just briefly move on to a short GrantXperts introduction, the company you work in.
Great. So as I said, we are expert grant writers, and we are a one-stop shop for the clients that we represent, meaning that we are involved in proposal writing, and we represent a number of profiles, meaning that we work with SMEs, startups. This is our, let's say, core target group. And at the same time, we are collaborating with research institutions, universities, and we lead proposal writing for the various projects that they have in hands. We create strategic roadmaps for them. In essence, we are giving them, let's say, a plan of the programs that they can apply within 1 year. I mean, from the moment that they come to us and they say that they would like to reach out for national or EU funds. We, of course, write the proposals on behalf of these clients, and once the proposal becomes a project, meaning it is approved, then we are also involved in project management. We are experts in project management and financial management, both for national programs and European programs. And at the same time, we are also participating as partners and coordinators in a number of projects for GrantXpert.
Okay, so it's classical grants consultancy that you
exactly
with supporting clients, writing their stuff, and then sometimes you go into proposals.
Not sometimes, I would say quite often. We are very, very active in managing our own projects, and we are really, happy and passionate about it, because we are, through our work, making an impact. So we really like, being involved in projects with a real impact.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, Christina, how is this business in Cyprus?
Well, I would say that things at the moment are our work is more known now than in the past, than in the previous 10 years, I would say. Very, very respectable, and we actually operate on a national level, but at the same time we are working on an EU level. So I would say that's a combination of both things. But at the same time, as I said, we are finally known about our work, highly respected, and I think we are viewed as a very serious organization, which is a great thing for us.
How is the innovation community, so to say. So businesses, developing new technologies and going for EU funding for it, and the universities, the research environment. Is it?
Yes, yes. So all of these, organizations, types of organizations that you have mentioned, have been, very active in the last, let's say, 4 years. This is why also we have seen a higher absorption rate of funds through the Horizon program for these beneficiaries here in Cyprus, which shows that there is, a clean cut, let's say, shift towards EU funding. From an innovation point of view and an entrepreneurial point of view, and the startup scene here in Cyprus, we are trying. I mean, also the national, let's say, movement is to transform Cyprus as a startup hub. So we are seeing relevant projects and initiatives happening at this moment in Cyprus. I would say that we are not there yet, but good steps are being taken towards this direction. I am sure that Cyprus will be on the ecosystem map on a more, let's say, strong identity in the next 5 to 7 years.
Good. Happy to hear it. Because you're one of the smaller countries, so it's always a little bit. And I guess many of the research communities have a strong connection to Greece, I guess.
Yes, but not limited to. I would say that as a country and as a research and innovation ecosystem, we are at this moment well linked with a lot of networks in Europe, which is a good thing. And I think that the instrument, the vehicle to be able to achieve this is the European programs. So there's a clear link here between the two.
Good, and that's work. And that's work for you.
True. That's true.
And that is making a nice little pathway here, nice little bridge onto the main subject of the episode. So, just refreshing from my introduction. So, we have this business that is very resource intensive, where especially if you're a grants consultant on the private side, it's something where you would often have a very heavy pressure on all capacities in a company that is dealing with the proposal preparation towards all deadlines. Summer deadlines, as we discussed this summer, the ones that are in end August, start September, of course, they are particularly difficult to deal with. But any deadline, it's something that puts a high pressure on a company, especially if you're a smaller one, as in your case. And then pops this message up that you have been running a test of a 4-day working week. So we're going to have a talk about those two things, because as I also wrote you in the rundown.
Yes.
So normally you have a sector where there's a big pressure on the price, and that's across Europe. There's some consulting companies, they of course are working in a market where they can charge higher, but it's still maybe in relation to the real salary level of that place and expenses. There's a pressure on the price, and that results in that you need to deal with several proposals at the same time for the case of profit, and then which is painful, and then you start to lack personal resources because you need to take more proposals in, and then it goes in a circle, right? So you lack personnel because also you don't get the best people. They go to management consulting or something like this because the salaries are much higher there. It's a much better market to be in. So that difficult, these conditions makes it a rough market to be in as a consultancy company. Now, So we put that up there. So because I've been in the business, I've been in private quite a while, so I've seen it from inside also. So I guess it's the same for you guys.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So we're not going to discuss how you survive as a business, so to say. But we'll probably it's not going into detail of sharing things that you don't want to share with other of your competitors. But what we are going to talk about here is we're going to have a chat about the background of this 4-day approach, how you managed it, if there was conditions agreed with the employees, so on and so forth. So if you just shortly introduce us. So what happened prior to this initiative? What led to all this? Can you share it with us?
Sure. First of all, related to what you said, and related also to what we hear from other people regarding our profession, is that you have a very fancy work, you are traveling all the time, so everyone from the outside think that this job is it's easy, but the true story here is, like you said, Niels, is a very tough and challenging job, especially when you are managing a lot of things at the same time, project management, and that's correctly you have mentioned, developing proposals and trying to catch up deadlines. So in reality, this creates a very hectic schedule for an entire team, and you don't, have, let's say, even the flexibility to leave any resources working on a flexible mode. You cannot do that. I mean, you really want to take the best out of your team, be on time, deliver high quality. High quality for us is very important. So you understand that this adds more pressure to the team. So if you want to be out there and you want to be top on what you are doing, then definitely you need to put in the long hours and, achieve the best that you can achieve. So back to your question, how our management team realized the need to implement the 4-day work per week. So we are always busy people for sure, but I can honestly say that during the pandemic, we have worked more than, I don't know, maybe the previous 3 years combined. So you can understand the pressure that the team had on its shoulders. We submitted on a number of different, let's say, programs. So this resulted into, having to be available for a lot of deadlines. So close to spring this year, we have, realized through the meetings that we have very frequently as a management team that, okay, guys, we really need to do something to diffuse our people. We really need to do something to remove all of this pressure so that people can, take a breath, relax, recharge, being able to, I don't know, bring themselves back to what's really important, and help them to become even more motivated. So having read on the basic concept of the 4-day work week and the benefits that it can potentially give to employees, we discussed this, and at the beginning, I have to be honest with you, we were not even sure if we wanted to go there, if we wanted to implement. It was not an easy decision, because when you really cut one whole day from someone's schedule, it can be really challenging. First of all, you have much less time for meetings, and we have quite a lot of meetings within our working week. Then you have definitely less time to dedicate to your proposal writing, to your project management, running a risk to miss deadlines. So all of these things that come naturally from tracking, let's say, productivity and efficiency of a team.
Yeah.
But there's a but. Nevertheless, we thought that the team deserves it. First of all, we are very, forward looking and flexible, so we are always trying to find ways to keep the team happy and showing in practical terms how we care about our team. So we decided to take the kind of the leap of faith and implement this, but on a pilot basis. So we thought that the summer period would be ideal to test this. So what our founder and director has done, she has prepared, previous to implementing the 4-day work week, a quick evaluation, a quick questionnaire on whether actually people believe in this initiative. So we asked the team, do you like this idea? If yes, give us reasons why. If not, give us reasons why. And majorly, she has asked whether the team believes that they will be challenged in any case by this new practice. We received a high interest from all the team members. They really wanted to give it a try. So it was like a common decision. And indeed, we have implemented it. We had our last Friday off last weekend, so 1 week back. It was extended for the first week of September. And now we are at the moment where we want to evaluate, we want to assess, we want to receive comments if people really appreciated, first of all, this 4-day work week, if they really found a chance to rest, if it was useful for them, what challenged them. I am sure that we all found challenging points from this experience. So yeah.
Let's start from the 4-day work week. That's something that, especially in the Nordic countries, Finland, some places, Denmark, Sweden, heard. I'm not sure I've heard Germany, but it's so just to align the listeners, this is a when you have been organizations that has been implementing this, have experienced that there's no decrease in output. That's basically the idea, the conclusion from the research. So this is the theory behind it, so to say, or empirical results behind this that should tempt other organizations to do the same, because, as is obvious for the motivation here with GrantXperts, that you give people a chance to reload their batteries on a regular basis, not just in batches after heavy workloads after months, and then you get 1 week or 3 days, whatever, and then you're supposed to go back and start in the hamster wheel again. So that's the idea behind. So this is something where that was the basic motivation to say we need to diffuse and give the employees of our consultancy company here a general reload on a continuous basis, so to say.
Yep.
That worked. Did it work?
Well, I mostly believe still we need to see the results of the evaluation. As I said, we just finished the pilot application of this. So we wanted.
How did you feel?
We wanted to test it. I can tell you personally how I experienced this 4-day work week. It was motivating because I knew that even if I had to put in extra effort Monday to Thursday, let's say, then I would have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to relax, and I don't know.
Which is good in Cyprus.
Yes. I think it's the best thing that can happen to you, right? You can live for a long weekend.
The beach,
relax.
It's perfect.
Yes, relax by the beach. Have your cocktails, and totally unwind for sure. But okay, being very honest with you, at the same time, there is definitely the consideration that you minimize your available time for meetings, for follow-up, for collaboration with your peers, with your collaborators. So I think it's a really really good practice, with some modifications in the future. So if a company wants to apply, it really needs to consider both the positive things and the challenging, I would not say negative parts here, I would say challenging, before deciding to apply this practice. But mostly I believe it was a good thing for us. Mostly I believe it was a positive experience.
So I'm curious,
Yes.
because if I obviously, because this is what this podcast in general is, you know, like touch a lot upon you, the many layers and facets of developing a proposal. That's at least part of
Yes.
what this is about, to demystifying, or at least to give people a chance to understand it better. So we all agree that writing proposals, that's a very complex and resource intensive task.
100%.
If you do it yourself or if you do it in a team, it's always resource intensive.
For sure.
It can be less if you have, but it's rough.
For sure.
How did you handle? I guess your summer here is, so this is all reliant on the leads you had to work with this summer.
Yeah.
So we just discussed before hitting the red button record, your submissions, and you have one now, but you didn't have one for the early autumn here, or August, September, which probably would have been a little bit more uncomfortable if you have had a big horizon proposal due for the 6th of September, for instance.
Well, in reality, when making these strategic decisions, you consider all of these factors, and definitely the submission deadlines plan ahead of us. At this very moment, at this timing that we have decided to implement the 4-day work week, was favorable, let's say, for us. And you're 100% right here. I mean, yes, if we had, let's say, concurrent submissions for Horizon and for Erasmus, then I don't think that we would be, in a position to at least make the actual decision to implement. We would still,
exactly.
I am still confident that we would be able to find other ways to diffuse this pressure of our team, but maybe not so easy to implement the 4-day work week.
Yeah. So you have proposals, but it was still decided on the basis that this would actually be doable with the leads that you had also.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
But it's still developing proposals, right? Still work to do.
Yes.
So let's have a look at that. Now it's geeky, this, because I've been there myself. So we can so for people who are doing this, it's interesting to listen to dig a little bit into the corners here. So
Yes.
So the work you did have. Now it's meeting heavy. And it's information heavy, no matter what kind of proposal you prepare. Still, you need to gather information you don't have yourself. You are reliant on other people.
For sure.
And especially in the summer, you are this is what we discussed in the summer struggle episodes, that you have this south holiday, north holiday issue. So you're reliant on people, and if you actually catch them,
I was gonna say the same thing.
If you can't catch them, you have to take that bloody meeting no matter what happens. So you are you have to be yourself. You're the only one that is the real flexible person in the whole thing, so to say, among the partners, because they have their holidays that you might be lucky that the coordinator said, I'm gonna skip holiday.
I 100% resonate and identify exactly with what you said. And
Yeah.
it's we at GrantXpert, we are very active with Erasmus Alliances for Innovation submission deadline. Okay, so this has been the experience also last year and this year. It's really, really funny because when we have the high intensity writing period, which for the September deadline starts in the months of June, July, and August. So June, July is it's a a high working period for us here in Cyprus, whereas in the rest of Europe, and as you said, the very correct examples that you mentioned, they are away in the months of June and July, but still they are back in August, which is very contradicting again because we are away.
That is actually.
We are away in August, and really, if you are the lead proposal writer for such a demanding, let's say, template, this has happened to me last year, not this year. I went for holidays in August, and I had, let's say, one eye open for my submission and one eye to my holidays, and I can honestly say it was a complete mess.
Oh yeah.
You don't really enjoy the holidays. You cannot really, I don't know.
No. I've been having Christmas holidays like that.
Well, if we
both summer holiday and Christmas holidays like that, where you're going for meetings. You go home from the beach to take a meeting with.
If we have to,
I missed my question.
Yes, tell me.
So the question I wanted to ask, it's what we're talking about here, is that what if that day that you're off, there is no chance that you can take, you need to take meetings with, so this meeting logistics, how did you handle that? You know, just talk about you don't need to talk about how your colleagues handle it. How did you handle that? Because because that's the issue when you're a consultant. You are paid money to deliver a service to the client,
yes.
Right? So it's not really, it's a no-go to say, no, I cannot, I'm off. Yeah, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work in this business. Yeah,
no.
It's then they're not going to choose you next time when you develop it. So it's obvious. If you start to be difficult to have meetings with, they are the ones that are supposed to be difficult having meetings with.
Well, I personally, I follow the really proactive, let's say, approach to how I handled my meetings within those 2 months. I applied personally the 4-day work week for 2 months, July and August. So knowing that I would be away on Fridays, made me highly proactive, and I arranged all my meetings all the other days. But it was not easy for sure. I was hoping my away message would work. So,
but they don't.
There you go. You have my away message. I am implementing a very, let's say, innovative strategy. I am on the beach, so don't bother with me. Well, okay.
Then they
yes.
will bother you.
Yeah. It was challenging, definitely. When an urgent request came, I was there. I have to be honest, I was there. But I made sure at least Neil to make the most of the available Fridays that I had. I managed.
Did you shift your day off, so to say? Did you sometimes move it to Monday, or I don't know?
No. It was indeed Friday. But if I have to share a little secret, I found myself working either on Saturday or on Sunday. Not a lot, but I did that to be able to catch up. Not all the weeks, but I did that, yeah.
So this is where it starts too, because we all do. Well, I don't do now because I don't write proposals anymore.
Well, I am referring specifically to implementing this 4-day work week. If I have to refer to what happens generally, yes, this happens all the time.
Yeah. So the thing is, so it's not what I'm interested in digging a little bit in scratching a little bit here, because now you said something that should be for all private grant writers, but probably anyone writing a proposal, right?
Yeah.
You cannot. It's when you get closer to the deadline, it's simply impossible not to use your weekends. It's not possible.
Especially when the deadline is approaching, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
if you are let's say committed in projects, in proposals where you have consortia involved, so you have, let's say, 10 to 13, 14 partners at the same time, and you are the lead proposal writer, of course, I mean, there's no other way that you can deliver a high quality proposal without dedicating all the available time that you have prior to the deadline, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know? I think what I'm trying to get at is this is the baseline. Yeah, that's the baseline. That over summer, if you have proposals in September, you have. It's not a horizon, but it's still a proposal. It's still where you need to get a
sure.
so it's still work.
Yeah,
it's not it's still heavy work to do
for sure,
Erasmus.
for sure.
There's always in the summer where you. But what this 4-day working week did was it sounds like it made you focus on efficiency. So I need to cut these things short, or I need to make sure that I have these meetings during the week. So at least you could almost have a full working day in on average a full Friday, so to say. Sometimes you take a meeting or so on, but then that's off, and then normal work would appear on Saturdays and Sundays. Did you now it gets now it gets even more interesting. Did you tell your manager? Did you tell Silvia?
Well, listen, we are very flexible in how we work. I mean, we can organize our schedules and our agendas. So it's a demanding job. So certain things will pop up. I mean, you cannot avoid it.
Yep.
And all of us being in this field for so many years now, we are, I mean, the entire team, we are professionals in the field for a lot of years. So we know the challenges that exist in this job, and having to deal with things that pop up all the time is one of the things that we do, and it's okay. It's not all the time, at least. I mean, this is not continuously happening. Well, Celia, from her own, let's say, side, and we are all of us very appreciative of this, let's say, management style. She's very open. She wants us to, at least most of the working days of the week, to work on our standard, let's say, hours.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to make the best that we can do. But we love our job. By the minute that you love your job, it's a mathematical equation is not the way to approach things here.
The thing is, when you are in the grants business, that is the business. You cannot really. It is because it's resource intensive. We talked about it already, but that's just how it is. Yeah, you cannot just sit with your. It's very difficult to have a 9 to 5 schedule.
I agree with you. This is why I said that you need a certain level of flexibility on how you manage things in your personal work agenda. Okay.
Yeah.
And at least. Trying to maintain a balance between the periods that are, let's say, deadlines less incentive and the periods where you have a lot of deadlines in front of you. So in order for you not to burn out, it's important. And I think this way of managing your personal work schedule really comes after you develop a good experience in our field.
Mm-hmm.
So with time, you learn how to manage.
Yeah, and I think also I don't know what business model you are doing with GrantXperts. In P&O, the business model was a basic fee most of what I've been dealing with, basic fee and then a success fee. Yeah.
Yes, this is how we work as well.
Yeah. So it's if you do win proposals on a regular basis, then you start to becoming it. You can kick it a little bit. You can start to lower your shoulders a little bit with the success fee, and even if you then are involved as a partner, so you have a project budget.
For sure.
And but it's different from company to company, and it is also related to what kind of funding schemes you're approaching as a company, because European, especially Horizon, is notoriously difficult to deal with. Also the EIC, for instance, for the SMEs, it's the success rate is very low.
Yes, I know.
And to incorporate that in the price is sometimes rough, and that relates to what we started talking about, that this is not a business that people are prepared to pay a lot of money for, because they want to see it come through. So they are not prepared to say that there's a success rate. Let's just say that I think P&O, we said we had a success rate of 33% or something like this across the group. But that's still, even if you as a company operate with lower, 25% for instance, or 20%, which is still higher than the average Horizon, then it's to get the clients to accept that. It makes it difficult compared to if you approach funding schemes where the chance is much. For instance, if you have a national funding schemes where, say, it's almost secure that you get it if you just put pen to paper.
No, not necessarily. If you allow me to disagree with you here, but okay.
It depends what countries. For instance, in the Netherlands, for instance, it's a huge P&O business because they do tax deduction. You have tax deduction schemes in the Netherlands where companies that do innovation, that has a part of their budget, they can apply for a tax deduction from the Dutch government.
I see.
And that's not even a success rate. You have to screw everything up in those applications to get it, but they were still working with a very favorable payment from the clients because they were just happy that someone would do it. So there you see that was a source of income. That's also in Belgium, where I was, the Flemish funding schemes, much higher success rate than the Horizon. So the local team dealing with Flemish, they had a much higher success rate and income than the European team where I was in. Even though we did the same work, we maybe even like a tad more rough experience in our end because we really have to fight for it in the EU part.
I see.
So you see, so as a company, so for you, I don't know, it sounds like Cyprus, it's in the rough end for national fundings.
It is completely, and we are really, active in representing clients, especially to the schemes that concern innovative startups and SMEs, or any kind of schemes that promote entrepreneurship. The programs here are very competitive. The templates are really accustomed to the Horizon templates. Not the same, of course, but the logic is the same. So you can understand that the effort to develop a proposal, even for the national funding programs, is I would say equivalently equal. I mean, to applying for an EU scheme. So this is a realistic information here.
You know what I'm very bad in when I do these podcast interviews? I'm very bad in finishing my own question. So I have a long fly into a question, and then I forget to deliver the point in the end. The point is, for instance, I had this guest George in this summer struggle episode, and he had managed to release some of the pressure because he had been winning a handful of proposals for clients where he was a partner himself involved. So he could he was a one man band, right? Standing with a drum on his feet and a guitar, figuratively speaking. But he managed to as his own business model there because he won these things. To over the next years he can lower his shoulders a little bit and being able to say, no, I'm not doing September calls anymore. Yeah, to go back to where we started from, reloading the batteries. So he could now allow himself that luxury. And I think maybe you have very for sure in your team, Celia and so on, it had a look at this. So what do we have of projects in that we are being funded as we are go over the summer hours that we can write off? So we are not so much under pressure, I guess.
Well, as I said, we had very full 2 years of submissions. Okay. We are very happy because we had amazing results over these past 2 years. So we had a lot of new projects coming in. But at the same time, it's also a priority decision on which actual, let's say, programs you want to submit. So, I mean, you cannot be an implementation factory. So you really need to decide the thematic areas and the programs that you are willing and able to submit. And if it is successful, then you need to make sure that you also have the resources to implement this project. And I will kind of repeat myself here, but it's one of our basic principles in the GrantXpert team. We really want to, first of all, be involved in projects with a real impact, closely related to our, let's say, priority areas in the company. And second, we really want to be very good at what we do. So quality is important for us.
Yeah.
And having a team which is motivated and efficient and
these are episodes that could be isolated episodes, and I will dig into these kind of things because I have myself, for instance, been sitting with, because of the business model of Horizon Europe, because of the success rate, saying you need to do X, Y, Z amount before you can take home a success fee, right? Statistically. When I was in P&O, I did proposals for 2 years and I won one in the end. Yeah.
Really?
When I was leaving. Yeah. So my KPIs, I had to fill it up with I couldn't fill it up with success fees, which helps. That eradicates immediately KPIs because it's very high. So I had to fill it up with baseline fees, which is very rough because that means that you have to do 3-4 proposals at the same time for each call round. And that is just because that's so all no company says that we don't do quality. You know, this is why people hire you. They hire you so you can sharpen the quality of the text that they say reflected. You know, it's not just it's research reflection. Yeah, it's not just, it's a matter of being able to strengthening a research innovation text, adapting it to evaluators, to the conditions and so on and so forth. And that when you do 4 at the same time, that it doesn't matter how clever you are, because when you do 4 and with the resource intensity,
yes,
just for one, it starts to fry your brain. I can reassure you, if I could have done one at a time, my success rate would have been much higher. No, but really.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I see your point, and yeah.
But it's just because of the nature of that business. Yeah, It's just because it's in profit company. If they don't earn money, then they have to close. Yeah. So from that point of view, if the market is like this, that's just what you have to ride up against or work up against as a consultant. But it's it's rough. No, but so this is something that I am going to make episodes on. But now we're moving a little bit away from because the 4-day it spills into this, but but also very cozy talk we have here.
Yes, indeed.
If I try to be a good podcast host here and been well around things here, but what I would like to just briefly, how did your colleagues in general, how did the team, did some say, no, I don't like this at all, or did some say, I only want to work like this now? Or how?
Well, as I said, the team in its majority embraced this the introduction of this initiative.
Yeah.
I think that we had some colleagues who preferred, let's say, to have less hours within their each working day instead of having an off on Friday.
Yeah.
So like leaving the office early on Friday instead of completely, let's say, scrapping Friday from their working agendas. But I think it's not a matter of mindset here. It's a matter of personal priorities and life status. Yeah. So depending on if people are married, have kids, and things become complicated. But I must say that,
it's dangerous with saying I would rather work all 5 days with less hours, because that's not going to happen. Yeah, it's not going to. That's what we all want. Yeah. But it's correct what I say. Yeah, that's what we all strive for. We work 9 to 5. That's nice. Yeah. And it's not like we sit, especially as a consultant, you don't sit and stare into the wall and you actually try to be. So it's, but I understand perfectly, because I also have a family and kids and so on.
Yes.
So yes, it's if you the twist between saying working 4 days until 9 every evening, not seeing them, and then one day where you. But when I think back. When I think back, it was just 2 months not seeing anybody at all. Just staring into your computer. No.
Well, as I said, we are doing our best to help our team. And speaking now on behalf of our management team here, we are doing our best to help people maintain a normal working routine. Okay. We are really, flexible and not trying to burn out people. We all of us, we know that during deadlines, intensive periods, then definitely we need to be there and make it for our deadlines. But this cannot really work, Niels, on a full-time, all year round basis. It's kind of a dangerous tactic, let's say.
Yeah, so I think that first of all, overall, I think it's fantastic that you have done this initiative.
Thank you very much.
Really, it's because I have a lot of opinions about how things work in the private grants consultancy business. Really, I've been seeing a lot of bullshit. I've been seeing a lot of very ugly ways of working internally, very uncomfortable, really uncomfortable ways of attacking different, very, especially this with the working hours and so on, and the attitude from managers and so on. I have an opinion about it, and I love to see when somebody tries to do something else to deal with this, because it is a business where you scare a lot of people away. The companies that do not deal with these things, you scare people away, because if you want to work a lot, then you can go anywhere. Yeah. So it's people, they can work with research and innovation and so on in many ways. They don't have to sit and do 4 proposals at the same time and then get a burnout and have to work with that with a psychologist for several months afterwards just to get back on track.
Yes.
You can do many things. Where,
Yeah.
then you get.
Yeah. I see your point.
Yeah, and this is something that I will continuously get back to in this podcast because it doesn't have a voice. It's not something that anybody talks about. I've been in a very big company. Nobody talks about it, not only in between them, bitching about conditions and so on, but nobody talks about it openly. Nobody really address it. It's
something that we do in our team, and I personally appreciate, and I think that the entire team appreciates because I can see the results of this, let's say, approach or culture. I would say, we sit down on a weekly basis and we talk to each other. We discuss openly what's challenging us, what's not working. Good things that we are applying either on a personal or a team level, and we really want to reinforce. So I think that this open communication channel that we have with each other is, the major vehicle for our progress and the unique things that we are applying, like the 4-day work week.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what else?
No.
Quality of management.
For sure, 100%.
And that 100%. Then the ones that I have been, they I'm not going to say more about that, but I've just mentioned what my critique about this, sure. So you can yourself figure out. It's really just because you're good at writing proposal doesn't mean you're good at leading a team.
At the bottom line of this, I would say, Niels, that it's really important to be a good professional, but at the same time, really caring and loving your people, your team, being a real person, and embracing everything with humility and pure care. This is very important if you want to survive and make the most of this profession. We are with our team, with our people, so many hours within a day. If you don't have this considerate approach, I don't think that any kind of approvals will make this work rewarding or satisfactory. So you really need to be close to people, close to yourself and close to other people.
You cannot be a good manager within this if you don't understand yourself how rough it is on the people that you put to do this.
100%.
You need to have a very high level of empathy. You need to have a very high level of understanding what people go through, what you ask of people, and then you need to do what she's done here. You need to say, I understand exactly how rough this is on you. We need to find a way to diffuse. Let's try to see if we can do this.
Exactly.
It shows an incredible amount of good management skills.
Definitely.
Definitely. And it's not just because you're on board the podcast. I'm not pitting anyone here. But the truth the truth is that that's the qualities you need to have if you want to make your people stay.
For sure.
And if you want them to walk the extra mile, do they want to walk the extra mile for you when it gets rough? Or do they look for other jobs immediately because nobody's appreciating what they do?
And really, for the people that will listen to this podcast, we really need to highlight our teams are important in this profession. We are not working alone.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot do it alone. Yeah. So
it's vital. Actually,
definitely.
this is the way I always worked. I did it myself. I could make those choices, and I always worked in pairs, minimum 2. You have to, simply have to.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, but it's always good to dig into these things with people who understand each other, and we do understand each other, Christina, because it's I've been there indeed very heavily myself. So yeah.
Yeah. And as I said, it makes me, you cannot imagine how happy to have this discussion with you today. It's really important to finally have a channel of communication and, come up front and share our experiences with each other. The struggles, the opportunities, the good things, the bad things, the ugly things, everything. Why not? Why not? And finally, Niels, you took the initiative to create this podcast series, which is really awesome. And I'm sure it's going to be getting better and better with time. I am 100% sure about that.
Thank you. I hope so too. And you know what? It's also, there are many elements why I'm doing this, but one of them is to create respect around what is being done in the consultancy side, because there's not a lot of respect around the work that's being done. You have, of course, a client segment that understands what private consultants do and have a bigger respect for the work, but you also have a huge segment of people with perception that is not really a respect for the kind of how much efforts, how much is actually being put into it, of quality work and resource intensive effort. So it's so this is part of
it. Why not?
Why not? But it's because nobody talks about this, because the business themselves, they don't really flag how important and or how it's always very, I don't know, too humid, so too humidity. What is it? Not humidity, humility.
Humility, yes, not humidity. Humidity.
Yeah. That's where you are. It's not.
That's true.
No, Christina, no, we will.
Yes.
We come to the end. The Grant. But I always ask. It's a segment I have in all episodes I do. The toughest challenge. What was the toughest challenge doing the 4-day work week initiative?
Toughest challenge? You mean personally or on a team level?
Yeah, personally. Well, you can say if you know from the company level, but you can choose yourself.
Well, as I said, I think it was a matter of realizing that now I have 4 days to do the things I need to do instead of 5. So shortening the amount of time that you have available for your productivity in terms of what you want to achieve within a week. So you had to, in a sense, realign your work plan to include it in 4 days instead of 5.
So what do you say? So you say that it's planning up against an unpredictable week.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yes. Because that's what it is. It's unpredictable, yes. Grants.
You wrapped it in a more nice manner than me. Yes, exactly.
I don't know, but maybe I'm just doing this more and more. Maybe I'm getting better.
Well, me personally, I was a big fan of this concept, and I really did my best to.
And it's not the last time I've had you on board, so we will stay in touch. So what I agreed with Celia is that we will do a Christmas episode.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Because my wife is Orthodox Christian. She's Romanian origin, but so Romania is an Orthodox country, right? And she has Greek ancestors. So she's have a sort of a veneration for the Greek culture and country and people and so on. So it's nice I have been going to services in the church in the Greek church in Aachen for the 4 years we stayed there. There's no Greek. There is a Greek community, Greek Orthodox community here in Flensburg, but they only have a service once per month.
Okay.
So, but she's attending it when it's there. So, but it's just to say that that I know how Christmas is in the Orthodox tradition. So we can have a nice. So I said to Celia, we'll make a Christmas episode, and we will share this with the listeners, and then in between that we can talk a little bit about your company, also from her as a manager and so on. So,
yeah. Yes. I'm sure it's gonna be also very, very interesting discussion, and Celia has so many things to say. She can also share her story of how she started her own company. Yeah. So it's gonna be also rewarding discussion, I'm sure.
Definitely. So we will stay in touch. So
for sure.
I'm just gonna wrap this up. So dear listeners, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for listening to the end. I am continuing the efforts of building up the website. I made a hub. I mentioned it also last episode. I have a hub where I try to gather links and resources for people. You have lots of resource gathering pages everywhere, but it doesn't make any sense for me to sit and talk with guests, and then when we talk about webinars or online courses or whatever, or links to different places, then it's natural that there's a place where people can go within my universe. So I created that. So please check it out. I have just added some of the webinars from the commission, official webinars on how to prepare proposals, for instance. And I will continue build on the service in there for you. Else, I keep building on interviews, and so it's just growing. Hope you enjoyed. Christina,
thank you very much, Niels. All the best.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll talk soon.
Yes, we will. Bye.
Bye.
The Grant. You have been listening to The Grant, the EU funding